Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that introduction you gave us.
What was wrong with the introduction?
Why we ain't got no music or
It was
nothing
a little
playing?
scripted.
when we got our names coming up.
Crew Entertainment.
We do it all.
We do it all. So we're going to start it back. I'm Antonio Burnett, social media manager at Crew Entertainment. Here with me right now.
Let me get my intro song since y'all want to play around. Hold on. I'm Stephen A. Smith right now. All right, here. All right, now you can introduce me.
All right, so we here.
I be feeling like that, man, when I walk through.
With Randy Morrison,
Yeah.
our president.
I don't know what you doing, Leon.
We here with Leon, See the Wall, and
I ain't as
DP.
extravagant as this diva over here.
Welcome back. This is episode 2 of No Hard Feelings, man. We're going to talk on everything today, from the Sterling Brown incident to LeBron last night to the playoffs and just the all-defensive first team, all of it. We're going to touch on all of it, man. But right now I'm joined today by Randy Morrison, the CEO of Crew Entertainment, also the CEO of about 18 other jobs. So, Randy Morrison.
What's up, y'all? My name is Randy Rich Boy Morrison. This is episode 2. Today we're going to touch on a lot of fun topics. I'm joined with my boy from West Orange, Patrick, my boy Antonio. Will introduce y'all to him.
We got Pat Jamison here with us today, special guest, man. Led the state in three-point percentage when he graduated 2016. Right now, a player at NJIT, man. Pat Jamison, welcome to the show, baby.
My name is Pat. Thanks for having me today, and let's get right into it.
All right, we're going to get right into it. So, January 26th, there was an incident that happened with Sterling Brown, the Milwaukee Bucks rookie, where he was parked illegally in 2 handicapped spaces, 2 o'clock in the morning. Turned into a situation where the cops wrote him a ticket, turned into a physical altercation. Next thing you know, he was getting tased. So one of the cops got 2 days of suspension, one cop got a 10-day suspension, one cop got a 15-day suspension. With everything that happened, parking in a handicapped spot illegally, do you think this was a little bit excessive? Could this have been prevented?
Could it have? At 2 o'clock in the morning, first of all, you out. And you park in a handicapped spot. You're not handicapped. That's a wrong already. You're supposed to be ticketed and told for parking in a handicapped spot. So, on that aspect, if you would have never did that, most likely the cops would have never said that to him.
Do you think, though, maybe, it's just a ticket. Why did it have to escalate to that point of being arrested for it? It wasn't a crime.
You're right. Now, what they did, if you want to be technical, they saw a black man at 2 o'clock in the morning. He probably had one of his nice cars out there, parked there, and they took it to the next level. Because the police brutality in the country right now is at an all-time high. Of course, the cop could have been like, all right, you're going to get a ticket, tow it, and end the whole situation. But it took 8 cops to do what they did. It was definitely uncalled for, in my opinion. What do you think of that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously it could have been prevented. I think, he shouldn't have never parked there. However, the way the cops approached him and tased him. I mean, first of all, why do you need 8 cops for just one guy? I mean, you should know him. He plays for your state's NBA team. Give him some respect. So, it could have been prevented. However, the police was unnecessary with all that force.
So do you think, though, so far what we see, do you think in a situation like this, are we going to actually see justice? The cops got a couple suspensions. I mean, is that really enough?
They gave them a 15-day suspension. Well, they gave 3 cops 3 unpaid suspensions. But they made national news for doing something uncalled for, once again, for the cops. Some cops got to get fired sometimes. Like, at this point, you know this guy. He's not just a regular guy. So you know what he does for the city, the state of Milwaukee. So it shouldn't even went that far. So somebody should have got fired. I don't know who, but somebody should have got fired. And one cop got 2.5 days of suspension.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a light punishment for everything that happened with that situation. And it's sad to say the mayor and the head of the police office, the only statement they had was that we should have an apology for Mr. Brown. I think an apology is nowhere near enough for what happened with the situation. We've seen this time and time again, and I believe it's sad, but I don't know what would be an answer. Do you have any idea like how we could come to a solution with this situation?
I mean, I don't know. I just think, a lot of people blame the cops, and I can't blame them. I mean, there's a lot of these situations happening towards this country, and honestly, you could say it's the cops' fault because they should not be they should not be overpowering their, what is that word?
Their authority?
Their power,
Their authority, yeah.
They're abusing
They're abusing
their
it,
power.
exactly. Taking advantage of it, and that's wrong.
But on the other hand, like, athletes and all these rich and famous people think they're above the law at the end of the day. So, of course, they use certain things to get away with certain things they be doing. So I think he probably was like, I'm going to be here quick. I'm a star player for the Milwaukee Bucks, or a player for the Milwaukee Bucks, so I should be good. And the cops wasn't having that. So, you pick and choose, but the problem that is the cops is they got a bad negative light in America right now. So what they did was 100% wrong. What he did was 100% wrong too, but he could have either been taken and told, and the situation wouldn't even got this far.
Yeah, and I think though it's just a little excessive though to try to put on a charge for resisting arrest.
He didn't do nothing.
He didn't do anything. I shouldn't.
It was 8-on-1. Like, how you resisting arrest? He was on the ground. In the video, he was just calm. He just was down there chilling.
And arrested for what? Normally, a situation like that, if it's a parking violation, it's just a ticket and that's it.
Because I parked in a handicap spot one day before. They just gave me a ticket.
I park in handicap spot all the time. I don't get the ticket. Guess
So I know you ain't supposed to get locked up for that.
Yeah, exactly. And resisting arrest, I think that's excessive. But I mean, we'll see what happens in the future. Sterling Brown has a civil case going on,
Which he should win.
Yeah, he's taking it on with a good mindset. Being the fact that he is a player, an NBA player, he's using his platform to try to shed light on the situation. But I mean, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. Normally, these situations don't turn out with the most per se justice. But speaking of everything turning out how it's supposed to turn out, I told y'all on Facebook, IG, I told y'all everywhere, LeBron was not going to lose at home. And last night, they did not lose. LeBron led the team. They won. The supporting cast actually showed up. How do you see his legacy being cemented? Anytime it's a closeout game, he always shows up.
So you telling me last night added to his legacy?
Of course.
How?
He right now in history, he leads the league in points per game in closeout games. He always shows up when it's a closeout game.
LeBron shows every night though.
You can say that, but when it matters the most, especially with the...
So you give him the pass of the games they lost at on the road. Did he show up?
He showed up. Supporting cast did.
So is nothing LeBron is doing differently throughout this whole series. He's showing up every game.
Exactly. So I'm saying.
So how does that add to his legacy just because that was last night and it was a closeout game for him?
So far this whole playoffs, he's had to carry this team and
he picked this team.
46. He picked the team.
Yeah, he picked this team.
Many would say that's the case, that he is the GM coach and player, but I mean the man, he's in his 15th season, basically 17 with the playoffs, and he's still balling like he's 19.
He's great. Nobody never said LeBron was great, but what he did last night didn't add nothing to his legacy. He's still going to be one of the greatest players.
I mean, we know, LeBron's one of the greatest players of all time. Arguably, possibly, top 2, top 3, whatever. But his supporting cast, if they want to win in this Game 7, I mean, guys, they have way too many inconsistent players such as, J.R. Smith. He'll go like 0 for 6. He'll go 6 for 6 one game. So you really
George Hill had
know
20 last night.
Exactly. You don't know what you're gonna get from that.
We haven't seen George Hill get nowhere near
J.R.
that.
Smith need to get benched and kicked out the league, bro. Like he's horrible. That's Stephen A. Smith calling him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that nobody else shows up. That's what I'm saying. LeBron doesn't really have consistent help. They always show up at home. That's an issue if your players don't show up when it's not at home. They got to go to Boston and close it out, the series. I mean, George Hill said it himself. The 3 games that they won that he played decent in, he said he's had his Chipotle Barcelona. So I guess if they find a Chipotle in Boston before the game, he should be fine. But you guys thinking that maybe they could pull it out in Boston?
I'd say this from the rip. The NBA is not letting LeBron lose. Now, once he win against Game 7 Boston, of course, the next topic was LeBron took another team that didn't deserve to be in the finals to Game 7. And LeBron going to have 50 to Game 7. He's going to have to because they home. And he's going to beat them. And then that's going to add to his legacy because now it's looking like he was down 0-2. Everybody counted him out, including me. But he started playing better, I guess, at the end of the series. And if he went on the road Game 7, it don't even matter what he do in the finals. That's going to add to his legacy.
I mean, it's hard to bet against LeBron. You think they're able to pull it out in Boston?
I mean, LeBron's going to get his. There's no doubt about that, whether it's 40, 50, whatever. But I just think it's going to come down to the supporting cast and how they play. I mean, if they play the way they played in that Toronto series, they look like they were the greatest team in the league. And then now they play in this series, and I mean, they're very inconsistent, so it's really hard to judge. So I just think it's going to come down to the supporting cast and how they support LeBron.
True.
I think LeBron if LeBron pulls us off to the finals, whoever he played, the Warriors or the Rockets in the finals, he's too tired. And all they gonna do is run up and down. I don't think they're gonna win the championship. Well, I know they ain't gonna win the championship.
Well, that's a great way to segue
So
into the
that's
next
what
topic. Great way to segue into the next topic. Speaking of the Rockets and Warriors, they do play tonight, and it's Game 6. Rockets are up 3-2. I didn't see that coming. Chris Paul, though, is out for Game 6, who has been a huge factor in the success of the Rockets so far this season and the playoffs. With James Harden have been basically non-apparent so far in a pretty big moments with this Warriors series. How do you guys see this panning out with Chris Paul being out for Game 6? We don't even know about Game 7, but how do you see this panning out? Does it even go to a Game 7? Does James Harden go off tonight?
I think it does go to Game 7. I mean, Chris Paul being out, that's a huge loss. That gives, Steph a break. He could go off more. I mean, CP been on him like crazy, so I just think it's going to go to Game 7, in my opinion.
So you think, I personally believe, it's going to Game 7, I know that for sure. But Iguodala, I don't care if Chris Paul played. If Iguodala was here the last 2 games, the series would have been over by now.
Yeah.
So now they're in desperation when they're going to win at home. And the Warriors will beat the Rockets at Game 7 at home. They have no choice. Nobody want to see the Rockets in the finals.
So you think Golden State, who has been playing very
They've been playing bad.
uncharacteristically,
They've been playing bad.
a lot of turnovers.
They
They
haven't
haven't been executing in the last 3-4 minutes of games.
Turned over the last 10
Kevin
seconds.
Durant is 1 for 6.
Didn't they say he had 4 points or something in the last
couple 4 quarters?
Yeah.
It's doesn't make any sense. They're not playing like the Warriors. So you think with all the turnovers and when they're on the road, they basically play circus ball. It's a lot of turnovers and they're just trying to outscore you. Do you think Golden State, how they've been playing, can go into Houston and win in Houston?
Yeah, they did already.
For a Game 7, with how hungry Houston is right now?
I just think some adjustments should be made. I mean, you had Quinn Cook, I think he played 8 minutes a few games back. He was over 3. He's just inexperienced for that kind of moment. And you got Mooney starting at center. I think you should give McGee, last playoffs he was killing it. Why you bench him and give him 0 minutes now? So kind of confused with that.
I don't like the rotation, but who am I? He got 2 championships, so
Yeah.
he's doing good. I definitely think Iguodala hurt that rotation. And the Warriors are the type of team that you can tell when they want to play and they don't want to play. The last 2 games, it seemed like Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and Klay Thompson, they really ain't care. It's like they feel like they can beat whenever they want to play.
When they could turn on the switch.
Yeah, you see when they beat them by 40,
Exactly.
they really wanted to play that game. So it's hard to play this team. That's why you can never bet against them. But when they do stuff like they did the last 2 games, you're like, well, y'all supposed to lose.
I think the thing that's kind of hurting them too, that they're kind of playing to Houston's ball
Yeah.
with a lot of ISO. They're relying a lot on Kevin Durant, just ISOing, posting up. Now, granted, Kevin Durant is probably, arguably, the most lethal scorer in the league right now. 7 feet tall, could dribble, could shoot, could post up the whole bit. But that's not the Warriors' offense.
That's not their basketball. They pass the ball over 300 times a game. Wasn't that the statistic before?
Yeah, they do. They make sure it's a lot of ball movement.
But it's hard with this team because it's a mismatch. Whoever won Kevin Durant. So I see what he's trying to do, but I also see this not what got y'all here. Y'all not the Rockets that one person gets the ball and everybody just look and see who wants to shoot. So they supposed to pass the ball, but I don't know. Kevin Durant just feel like he could most of the time he has somebody 6'3" guarding him.
Yeah, PJ
So-
Tucker's like 5'10".
Yeah, so it's like, I'm not gonna pass the ball around when I know I can just shoot over you. But it's hurting him at the most because nobody else getting in a rhythm. Like Klay Thompson
Exactly.
needs to get in a rhythm. He's not the type of player that can create his own shot. Once he in a rhythm, he can score 40 points a quarter. You don't see that happen. But when he ain't touching the ball shooting, he's gonna do nothing but play defense for you.
Out of the big three, Clay needs his shots
Yeah,
the
he
most.
needs his
He
shot.
takes the most shot attempts out of the big three.
Because
The
he's
thing is,
all
he don't.
assisted.
Yeah, he doesn't dribble like you said. He had last year the 61 points on 11 dribbles.
Yeah, he's a catch and shoot guy.
He's a catch and shoot. He's gonna run off with screens. And he's gonna play lockup for you.
So if you're playing that one-on-one basketball, Klay Thompson is in the game for no reason. Because you ain't driving and kicking. You just playing one-on-one basketball. He's not the type that's going. He's not going to cut like Steph Curry and Draymond and all of them. He's a spot-up shooter.
So you guys are thinking we're gonna see another Golden State Cleveland matchup?
I hope not, honestly. I don't want another one. I got Boston in my finals, to be honest. And these Rockets Warriors series, I mean, I think I can see Warriors coming back. I just can't see them lose. Right now, I know it's going to Game 7. And that Game 7 is going to be very, it's going to be intense, and we'll see what happens.
As much as I don't want to see that series again, I just think it's going to be one more time. I know this is going to be the last one. If it is, this better be the last one. That's four straight times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they've been there a lot.
I think the Cavs going to pull it off, and I think the Warriors going to pull it off.
I personally, if CP3 is there for Game 7, it's going to be the Rockets and Cavs. With that being the case, more than likely, if it's Rockets and Cavs, we're going to see LeBron with another ring. I mean, his
Yeah.
legacy is going to be even further cemented. And I think after this year, how the playoffs been and the lack of his help, like literally, we probably could have pulled some people from West Orange High School to play with him this
You mean
season.
Westside?
Now, Westside would have gave him more help than how we see JR and everybody showing up every other game. Westside, y'all didn't need to eat Chipotle before the game to play well. Y'all was safe before the game. So, if LeBron pulls it off, he gets a championship. I mean, this
Listen, if LeBron pulls this off and win a championship, he's definitely the second greatest player of all time.
I think we might have to have that discussion of the greatest of all time. If LeBron pulls it off with the way that the team was. Mike had way more help, so I think
He
if
did have more help, but he's not the greatest.
hey, LeBron, you go pull it off. We'll have this discussion later on a further episode. All right, man. Some of the awards have been released so far. The All-NBA team, first, second, and third team, and the All-Defensive first and second team, man. You know, this segment is called Starting Five. We're going to find out who y'all starting five would be, who you feel got snubbed and everything. So, on the All-NBA first team, we got LeBron, KD, Harden, Anthony Davis, and we got Dame Lillard. Second All-NBA team is LaMarcus Aldridge, Russ, DeMar DeRozan, the Greek Freak, and Embiid. The third All-NBA team, we got Steph, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Oladipo, and Karl Anthony Towns. Who do y'all feel, if anybody, was snubbed from any of the All-NBA teams?
I think Westbrook should have been the first team. I mean, he averaged a triple-double again. And the only one to do that in history was Oscar Robertson, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I love Dame's game, and he's been snubbed like from those All-Star games. What was it, like 3 years ago and 2 years ago? So I think the NBA kind of owed like something to him for that. But I mean, you just can't have Westbrook on the second team averaging a triple-double. I think that's kind of disrespectful towards him. So I believe Westbrook and Dame should switch it.
What you thinking? Who got snubbed in your eyes? And don't
For
say
all-
anybody from the Sixers.
You know I am.
Don't say JJ Redick.
Nah. I think I agree with Pat Ramins. I think Westbrook should have been All NBA first team. He did average triple double, even though he took 100 shots a game. And I think he didn't get that because he averaged like 4 turnovers a game. That's bad for a point guard. But other than that, I like it. I like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, James Harden. Anthony Davis, it's either way. I think my boy should have got it for him being the first year. Joel Embiid, they stats was basically even, but I can see Anthony Davis getting it because he's been in the league longer. But next year, Embiid by far.
Alright. So who's your starting five for the All-NBA first team?
Alright, so mine, I'm kind of biased. I mean, I like shooters, so I like the floor to be spaced out. So at point guard, I'll have CP3. At shooting guard, I'll play small. I'll put Steph at shooting guard, hard over height. LeBron at small forward, KD at power forward, and I got Karl Anthony Towns at center. I mean, they all could space the floor out. So let's say even if they're cold, I mean, you got LeBron and KD who could get a bucket any day, and you got CP3. You know, he's about pass first, and he wants to set people up. So he's a legit true point guard, and he's one of the only ones in the league right now who's that traditional pass first point guard.
So, quick question. I mean, you said you tried to make the argument that Russ should be on the first team, but he's not on your team.
I
Good
mean,
catch.
oh man, you got me. Hold on. Russ, I just don't want Russ playing with too much superstars with like Bron and KD. I don't want. He's a score first point guard. I don't
Would
want
you say he's a star killer? Because we know Paul George is leaving. KD left.
Yeah.
If Melo could leave, he'd leave.
Yeah.
So is Russ the issue in OKC?
His stats look good, but yeah, you could argue that. I mean, he's getting his stats, but team success is kind of
44 or 46 shots to go in
Yeah.
the last game. I mean, you go out shooting, but
He went out swinging for real.
I don't know. We might. Paul George leaves. We might have to start looking at Russ and putting a mirror in front of Russ. But who's your starting five All NBA first team?
All NBA first team. My starting five. This year, number one, Steph Curry. I need my shooter that could dribble, pass, and do all the things. We ain't talking about defense. We just talking about All NBA first team.
Mm-hmm.
At the 2 guard, I want James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
At the 3 guard, the third, the forward, I want LeBron and KD. And at 5, I want Embiid.
As expected.
And that team right there won't lose one game in the whole NBA.
All right, that team sounds good. That sounds good. I mean, if I got it, I'm gonna have Steph. I'm gonna have LeBron. I'm gonna go with AD. I'm gonna balance it out. You know, Steph, LeBron, KD, AD, and give me. I'll take the Greek Freak. That length would be crazy, and I think if we had ever a fantasy team, that would work out perfectly. So Greek Freak would actually have some help for once, you know, instead of what he has in Milwaukee right now. So looking at the all defensive first and second team, the all defensive first team is Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, Robert Covington, Victor Oladipo, Rudy Gobert. The all defensive second team is Al Horford, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Joel Embiid, and the first time, which to me was very shocking and surprising to see this name, DeJounte Murray made the all defensive second team. Big shout out to him, the second-year player from the Spurs who played big, you know, with Tony Parker being about 65 and everything. He definitely stepped up for the Spurs this year with everything that was going on, and Kawhi going on strike. So any snubs you see from the all defensive teams?
Yeah, I see. Draymond, he deserves to be on the first team. I mean, that's like his main role on the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And Covington, I mean, I don't know why he's in the first team. I think you should switch up Draymond and Covington. I mean, obviously Covington, he plays defense and all, but Draymond is a way more known and bigger influence on defense for his team, in my opinion.
Anybody you see was a snub?
On the first team, I personally don't want Covington because he's my sixer and he is short for us in the playoffs. But other than that, I will swap him out for. Can't swap him out because he's a forward. So Rudy Gobert, he's not better than Joel Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
Their stats are the same. So I mean, I give it to him because he averaged one more block than Embiid. So I don't really got no complaint. Robert Covington, he has to stay in because in the regular season, he was locked down defender. Like he was harassing everybody. So it's all about the regular season.
You're telling me between the both of y'all, Paul George doesn't get on this list at all?
Nope.
I don't think so, no.
Who did he guard this good this year?
Every time OKC played any team, he guarded the best perimeter player. You know Russ wasn't doing it.
Did he stop
and
him?
Don't tell me Melo was doing it.
Did he stop him? No.
Paul George played lockup.
On who?
Who did he play lockup on?
I mean, everybody that played the Thunder,
steals.
every star that played the Thunder averaged 30 probably, because they were just shooting the ball right along with Westbrook.
OKC still was in top in defensive efficiency.
Because they was running up and down the court. That's Warriors do the same thing. It's not that they is great defensively, but when you gotta run up and down the court with them, it takes your defense to another level because you're shooting bad shots all the time.
I mean, my question that I want to know is like, how do they rate? How do they come up with who makes the defensive team? What makes a great defender? Because
Mano
if-
y mano.
I mean, if we talk about Monty Mano, some of these players, I know a couple. I've been to a couple of the Sixers games. Jokers would just drive straight by Covington, and then he had Embiid for help. So
True.
do they cancel each other out? If I'm blowing past you every day and I got Embiid behind me, am I playing lockup? We both can't be on the list.
Yeah. But they two different positions.
I'm saying, well, I'd like to know. I mean, obviously we don't know, but what do
It's
they
about-
go off of?
What's your shot percentage? How many shots you taking against me? So when you blowing by me, that takes me out the defensive picture. So you didn't score on me. It's not by if I can keep you in front of you. It's about if you shoot and miss the ball or you don't shoot. So that's what they're going by. They ain't say if I can stay in front of you. If I make you take a bad shot or make you pass the ball, my defense went better.
So if we talking in that aspect too, another name that I was surprised that was not on this list, who led in multiple categories on defensive efficiency, defensive win shares, blocks, defensive rebounding, Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond does not get on this list.
Over who though?
Yeah, I mean, it gotta be a big. You can't take a guard out.
Yeah, who you taking out?
I'd take out Embiid.
For second team?
Andre Drummond was a better defender this year than Embiid.
Whoa, let's pull up stats. Yo, Andre Embiid had against him. No, I mean, he averaged 23 points, 11 assists. 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. And let's see what was his defense efficiency. Yo, 3.3 and 3.7 is the amount of shots he was taking in a quarter. Drummond's, I'm guaranteeing, I ain't got his stats, but I know Drummond's was worse than that.
Drummond averaged 16 boards a game this year.
That's it. That's not defense.
You want to go down every stat? We can look at the
Yeah.
defensive efficiency. We can look at defensive win shares. He averaged 1.6 blocks a game, 1.5 steals a game. Do I need to continue?
Yeah, because you ain't do nothing for him to win.
Yeah, compare it with.
Yo, and that's per minute. Per game. He didn't do nothing. Like, he didn't guard nobody.
I'm giving Andre Drummond the role. I think Embiid really got it because he talked about it.
What?
Beginning of the year, he put it on notice. Oh, I'm gonna be all NBA team, all defensive team.
They earn it.
He got voted in. No, not defensive. Heck no.
Bro, what have you been
No.
watching? Ask any
Defensively?
big man
No.
when Embiid guarded them, what
No.
they do.
No. He stopped Hassan Whiteside. That was it.
He didn't stop, what's his name? He didn't make Anthony Davis look bad?
No.
What? You ain't
No.
see that game on national
Anthony
television
Davis looked
when he
bad
had
against Embiid.
13 points
Oh,
and Embiid had 30?
he didn't do that.
Who did it?
AD had a bad game. Embiid did not play lockup.
You blocked him at the rim
Great.
multiple times.
So again, so we're just going off of he had a couple blocks.
No, he stopped him.
He didn't.
AD
stop
was
him.
averaging
AD
what,
stopped
30
himself.
something?
AD stopped himself. Embiid is not a lockup
that's what
defender.
that's what you
Embiid is not a lockup defender.
this
I mean,
one-
it's the same thing I think with Damian Lillard. He had a great year,
Yeah.
but because he kept complaining, he kept crying. He's a first team All NBA player this year. You say it enough in the league, and
But-
you produce.
But he been producing. It's not like this is his first year producing.
I'm saying, but he can complain
yeah,
for 3-4
that is
years.
exactly good.
I know that played a role in the fact.
I would complain too. Like, listen, bro, like I don't get no attention. I'm out here balling. Like my team not doing good,
Yeah.
but I'm balling.
That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day,
At least give me an
People
honorable
that's
mention or
voting.
something.
the people that's voting are part of the media. So if I'm saying this all the time, I'm doing it purposely to get the media's attention.
True, but
I think Drummond would have made a team if they had a good record. Embiid made the team because y'all won. Y'all was
Stop
winning.
it.
Y'all was winning.
Embiid was
everybody
talking.
on this. Everybody on this. Let's go down there.
So
Holiday,
you
Anthony
saying
Davis.
Drummond's better than
playoff
Embiid?
team. Defensively, yes. Holiday, Anthony Davis, playoff team, Pelicans. Covington, playoff team. Oladipo, playoff team. Gobert, Utah Jazz, playoff team. Horford, Celtics,
Lillard.
playoff team. Butler, playoff team. Jimmy Butler. Draymond, we already know they in the playoffs. Embiid, playoff team. DeJounte Murray, playoff team.
So you saying they only pick any playoff team?
Winning plays a factor in all these awards. You know that.
Yeah,
Of course.
so-
Yeah.
You gotta win.
He can't control his other
You
teammates.
have to win.
He can't control his
What's
other
the NBA about?
If Andre Drummond was
What's the
on,
NBA about?
If Andre Drummond was on the Sixers, I guarantee it'd be the same results.
No, it wouldn't.
I guarantee.
He can't score.
I guarantee it'd be the same
He just
results.
want to average 30 rebounds and lose.
You know what I mean? Oh, that's right. If he did that, then that means Ben Simmons would have to shoot, and he
Yeah,
can't
he
shoot.
can't shoot.
Well,
See, it's about
we know.
that.
Yeah, you're probably right because Ben
about
Simmons
that.
can't play really
And
that
he
well.
can't shoot either.
Overrated. So
What? Ben Simmons over. Everybody knew Ben Simmons couldn't shoot in college, so he's not overrated.
Ben Simmons, is the hype, man. He didn't.
So he didn't
We saw-
almost
we
average
saw-
a triple double.
We saw what happened when he played against lockup against the Celtics.
He can't shoot. It's not something that wasn't known.
Rondo can't shoot, and Rondo still get into the lane. Rondo's still effective, and he can't shoot.
Once he got the big three,
No, Rondo's always been effective. He can't shoot.
before the big three, he wasn't effective topping.
He always averaged the double-digit assists.
With the big three.
rebounds. That was before the big three.
No, he did not. Oh, you said double digit rebounds?
In assists, yeah, he always had.
Not.
Always, that was never a problem. He.
So you
Again,
telling
it's
me?
IQ.
You
I
telling
get
me
it.
what's
Ben
name
Simmons
better
is
than
young.
you saying?
Ben Simmons is young,
Rondo,
so he don't have the IQ to know what to do.
Rondo is
It's
great.
alright. He got a summer
Yeah,
to get
Ben
better.
Simmons, man, he just gotta get shots.
Once he get his shot up, he's gonna be unstoppable.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We knew he could not shoot in college. What did he do all that summer? Then?
He got
He still can't
hurt.
shoot.
You forgot he was hurt last year?
He had all last year to work on it.
Yo, he got
All
hurt.
that-
He broke his foot, bruh.
Okay.
What
All
you
he
gonna do?
He can just sit there and shoot.
That's not realistic, bruh.
He
Stop.
get paid. I don't understand some
Yo,
of these players.
listen.
Your job. It's your job. Why can't you still shoot? Why can't Rondo still shoot? It's their job.
It's not
We'll
their
see
job to
next
shoot.
year. I mean, look. It is what it is. We can debate on this all day, man. I think Drummond is better than Embiid. I think Embiid is great offensively. Defensively, the man needs some work still, but I'm entitled to my opinion. This is
Can you
episode
score
2.
him?
I score him right now. I
No,
give
you-
him. I give that man 30. Easy, a 30 clip. This is episode 2. We thank y'all for tuning in, man. We're gonna see y'all next week. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate
y'all,
it.
man. Appreciate you,
yeah.
Pat, for coming in and showing us some love.
Thank you for having a special guest here, Pat Jameson. You always welcome back, friend of the show, man.
Thanks for having
Just
me.
let y'all know this is how we do it on the crew. No hard feelings. We got everybody up here, black and Filipino. You feel me? It's all love.